Hello, this is Mornings with Michael for information and educational purposes only. Obviously, this isn't morning, the market has closed, but we're going to take a look at some things. And I left off some of the trending ETFs, and we're going to take a look at some of the crypto stocks, and we're going to take a look at some of the crypto mining stocks a little later. But before we do, let me share my screen. Mornings with Michael is for information and educational purposes only. Today is Taco Tuesday. I hope everybody has been able to go out there and support their favorite taco stand. So let me share the screen. The mega cap tech seem to want to bounce back today. Microsoft is up 0.92. Apple looked like it was breaking out, up 2%. NVIDIA recovered from yesterday and the day before, up 2.32%. Google, 1.35%. Amazon, up 1.41%. Tesla, up 1.33%. So only Netflix and Meta were the ones that were down today. So everything else, a lot of other things were a sea of red. CVS was up in the health, Eli Lilly, Merck. So there you have it. We often show this other screen. It seems to be missing at the moment. Let me just pull it up. Here we go. Our annuity or pension. Never lose money in an annuity. You sleep better at night, and you still keep going up the stairs to wealth. Whereas index investing, you can lose money, and it kind of bounces, bobs, and weaves with the market. And how does that work out? Works out that an annuity beats index investing by, on average, by about 5%. And currently, annuity companies, some are offering 40 to 45% bonuses, and this also helps get to this average. So there we be. If you need more information, feel free to give us a call, and we'd happy to talk to you in more detail about this. So that's that. Let's take a look at our charts. That's Microsoft bouncing back here. First, before we displace our thoughts for the day, here's Ethereum. Pulled back a little bit, and it is off to the races again. Gapped up, and then continues up here. Pretty good volume on it. Bitcoin, really big gap up, and just like Ethereum, pretty good volume here, up 5%. And that's that. Take a look at a couple of these. This is Bitfarms. I guess you could have bought over here right on this day as it broke out. And we could say it hasn't quite broken out yet, but I'd wait for a little bit of a pullback and see if it can go again. Hive, brought to my attention by a fine gentleman in San Francisco earlier this week, is up pretty nicely. Might be right above the 200-day. It's pretty good volume again today, breaking out. I can't find the one I'm trying to find right now, but MicroStrategy has most of its money in Bitcoin in the treasury. A little bit of pricey compared to the other two, but this is really kind of broke out over here and it just trending higher and higher. So we're back. We're going to, brought my little handset up. So we're going to go through some of these other miners. We're going to have our education session in the beginning, and then we're going to go to the news. Plain Spark, when I first noticed this was about $1. And then it went up to $20. Let's see if we can take a look at that. Yeah, it was right around here. No, I believe it was right over here, right in this area. And then it really tore off, went up to at 1.4222. But it's starting all over. And it definitely broke out. Looks a little extended right now. Trying to get my handset back up. Hot 8 might be in the early stages of a breakout here. Needs to get above 13, I believe, unless you like to draw your lines like that. Got some pretty good volume. Had some pretty good sell volume over here, but now it's had 2 out of 3 days pretty good volume. We got Riot. It's like that definitely broke out above $12.18. We got Marathon Digital. 1082 would be the breakout, I believe. Or you could come over here to 1392. And it's definitely broken out of there. We'll see where that goes. Cipher mining. There's a number of these. I'm not sure if there's like 20 of them. Cipher mining kind of trended down. Looks like 103% earnings growth. It's down about 6-7%. I think I'd wait till it cleared this area. So that would be 321. I think we looked at Bit Farms. The natural breakout would be $2.26. I believe this is it. K9 Creative. Oh, they create Bitcoin mining machines. So it's not really a Bitcoin miner. Terra Wolf. (91% zero carbon energy powered by nuclear, hydro, and solar energy. It's trying to get above its 200-day moving average. Not sure where you'd want to really buy this one. guess you could say $1.51. It kind of cleared that today, but I would want to see it clear this $2, be at $2.45. We looked at Hive, Core Scientific. This is more a blockchain infrastructure company. Might want to take a look at this. It's going to grow about 18%. It's making money. Although their last quarter came in a negative 11 cents versus negative $1.23. So we need to see some positive earnings on a quarterly basis. Bit Digital. I don't see that right here. Let me see if it comes up. Here we go. Bit Digital. Over 37,000 miners. This looks like a little more appetizing. Looks like it definitely broke out. I would say $2.67. Maybe we'll see if we'll have a little bit of a retracement. Could come in there a little later. It is a little bit extended up here. Went up of 4.73% today. Stronghold. Digital mining. Doesn't look like they're making money yet. Owns vertically integrated Bitcoin mining and power generation facility in the town of Scrubgrass. So yeah, it needs to get above the 200-day moving average for my idea, but we got a lot of pretty good volume coming into there. Argo, blockchain. I would be willing to bet this isn't really United Kingdom cryptocurrency company, asset mining services. So yeah, it looks like we got a little breakout above $1.65. We're at $1.69 now, up 0.6%. Iris Energy. Okay, it's trending higher. Breakout would have been right around $5.50. We're at $5.56. I would say it's still kind of in a buy range if after doing your due diligence. BitDeer. Looks like it's trying to do a breakout down here. 2024, 38-cent estimate profit. Got some pretty good volume over here after a long stretch of selling volume. And finally, not sure if this will come up. See, Green Ridge Generation. I can't find that one. Let me see if they have any more details. Here we go. Owns vertically integrated Bitcoin mining and power generation in town of Torrey. So it hasn't really broken out. It needs to get to, I guess, $7 a share. So those are our Bitcoin miners that we're looking at today. So before we get to the news, Define the news. And we're going to take a look what the dollar index. Just type for my news, get that propped up and ready. Dollar index looks like it bounced again, up 2 days in a row, up 0.38%. Looks like we got a little double bottom forming here. So there's a double bottom. Has it cleared the middle of the W? That's a good question. Looks like it's butting its head up there. So let's take a look at gold. With the dollar coming up, yeah, gold sold off ever so slightly again today. Looks like it didn't quite get down to its 20-day moving average and bounced up. Silver was off as well. We got 2 gap down days in a row, and it looked like it bounced off its 20-day moving average. So we'll just have to see if how things go here, if we have hit bottom or if it's going to trend lower. I believe a lot has to do with the dollar. Here's our arrow copper, pulled back to its 20-day and declining 10-day moving average. We thought we hit bottom, had a big gap up move, and now it's pulled back. Southern copper continues down. Freeport McMoran does the same. Vale, BHP, looks like it bounced off the 20-day, just like Rio did. Okay. Let's look at our bond yields. They continue to shrink. Let's see on a weekly basis if we get not quite down to the 200-day moving average. It's definitely being below there. I guess this would be the next line in the sand over here at 4060. Right now it's 4.17% yield. Let's look at the 20-year. 20-year is gapping down again as well, getting close to the 200-day moving average. Let's look at the volatility index. Tried to move higher and then sold off. S&P had a slight pullback. The equal weight S&P is pulling back a little bit more. I guess those big cap techs really help the S&P. And like the NASDAQ, eked out a profit today, 0.25%. Our equal weighted pulled back 0.64%. And likewise, Russell pulled back 1.34%. And our Dow Jones is pretty flat, hanging in there pretty well. So let's go to our news, and then we'll look at some trending ETFs, and then see where the big money was flowing today. We had some big earnings beats. Goldman Sachs 15th Annual Industrials Week 12.4. World News, China Caixin November Services PMI 51.5, above estimate 50.5. Moody's Investor Services cut its outlook on China's government credit rating to negative from stable. U.S. large cap ETFs had 14th consecutive weekly inflow, nearly 13 billion, while government bond ETFs had outflows of nearly 4 billion. On to our sector news, designer brands. Q3 adjusted EPS 24 cents versus 48 cents. And yes, that fell quite a bit, 33.33%. NEO posted a Q3 loss of 4.56 billion Chinese renminbi, wider than the 4.11 billion year over year, while revenue more than doubled to 19.07 renminbi as vehicle sales rose 46%. And the stock gapped up and then closed down for the day, down to its 20-day moving average. Signet forecast full year adjusted EPS $9.55 to $10.18, and they love that. Look at that move off of the 10-day moving average, up almost 6%. The Buckle announces $2.50 per share special cash dividend, and that was up slightly on the news, 0.12%. On to energy, industrials, and materials. Abcam acquisition by Danaher. We see a cash offer over here. Was approved by the High Court of Justice of England and Wales. Closing of transaction is expected to occur on December 6th. Not really too much on that news for Danaher. Albemarle and LiveNet. Albemarle is down big, 5.6. This is in lithium. They're both downgraded to underweight. They both gapped down in the news from neutral at Piper Sandler. Kinder Morgan forecast 2024 adjusted EBITDA 8 billion. Forecast 2024 DCF share $2.21. Said it expects a 5% growth in 2024. And that was not met with excitement as it's down nearly 2%. Financials, BMO, Bank of Montreal Capital initiated assumed coverage of 15 fintech stocks, noting while fintech stocks have been rallying in recent weeks, BMO is still bullish on the, let's see if that comes up. Yeah, Bank of Montreal keeps moving up on the right side of the space. Go see if it can get above its 200-day moving average. BMO is bullish on the setup for its coverage for the year ahead. The firm rates Square. FLT, Fleet Core Technologies, Adyen. Not sure why that's not coming up, but we'll move on. Nuvei, Canadian-based company in global electronic payments, up at 1.74%. Fiserv, up slightly. Emixi, International Money Express, pretty close to unchanged. MasterCard moved up on the news, up 0.11%. Visa, all of these that outperform. We got Remitly Global, GPN, Global Payments, Repay, i3 Verticals, Avid Exchange, looks like it's building the right side of a base here. Western Union, and PayPal at market perform. Might as well be in an index then. And pick Square. FLT. Still doesn't come up. Maybe that's the Canadian exchange. Comerica, Q3 quarterly average deposits 65.9 billion versus 74 billion in Q3. KeyCorp sees Q4 loans is down 1 to 3% versus Q3 2023. Deposits as relatively stable. NASDAQ, November equity options volume 254 million contracts, down 6.3% year over year, and European options and futures volume 6.2 million contracts, up 8.8% year over year. Robinhood Markets said in November 2023, customers contribute roughly 1.4 billion of net deposits to Robinhood, and they really like that news. Yeah, that's definitely a breakout. Massive volume, highest volume since space. November crypto notional trading volumes were roughly 75% above October 2023 levels. On to healthcare. CRISPR provided an updated immuno-oncology pipeline of edited allogenic chimeric candidates. It doesn't really do too much. They're trying to kind of build into the breakout here. We'll see if it can get some volume and move on up. CVS moved up today. Back full year 23 adjusted EPS view of 850 to 870 versus consensus of 858, and reaffirmed its full year 23 revenue view of 351.5 billion to 357.3 billion. And yeah, we got a nice gap up here on CVS. iPoint announces 175 million common stock offering. Munigen said FDA grants priority review of the supplemental biologics license application. And not too much movement there. We've had 3 days of pretty good selling. Merit Medical announces private placement of 550 million convertible senior notes. Yes, people don't like to be diluted. And highest volume, that if that you shouldn't be in it once it goes down below the 200-day moving average. Nothing good happens under the 200-day, and this will just reiterate it. And Springwork Therapeutics, 9.483 million shares, spot secondary price at $29. And once again, people don't like to be diluted. Technology, media, and telecom. GitLab, we referenced last night, bought $51 option on Friday on it, and it pops to $58.99. Nice move. Thank you, GitLab. And is that right over here? Not sure why it's not showing the range. Okay. GitLab, it's Q3 EPS 9 cents versus estimate loss of 1 cent. It's a big beat. Revenue is 149.67 million versus estimate of 141.49 million. AT&T said it will collaborate with Ericsson. People like that news. To build a more robust ecosystem of network infrastructure providers and suppliers in the US, the company estimates its spending could be nearly 14 billion over the 5-year duration of its contract with Ericsson. And Ericsson is moving up as well. Moved above the 200-day, and we got a gap up and raise. Shares of Ericsson competitor Nokia are sliding pre-market after the news, and yes, 2 gap up down 2 gap downs in a row on massive selling volume. You can see no volume over here and then all this massive volume. Comcast said its Peacock service has reached 30 million paid subscribers, and the platform saw 2.8 billion in losses this year, coming in under the 3 billion projected by the company back in January, and expects that the figure to be the peak loss heading into 2024. Take-Two Interactive shares fall 5%, but they bounce back here, only down 0.51% after the company's Rockstar Games unit released the first trailer of the highly anticipated Grand Theft Auto 6 video game, which will be released 2025 without an exact release date, seen as a source of disappointment. So let's go to our ETFs. Slight pullback in the financials. Energies are really suffering. They cannot make it above the 200-day moving average. Oil continues down. Communications, where Google is, still kind of in that blue shaded buy area. We'll see where real estate continues to look really good as the bond yields continue to retreat. Biotech is staying up there. Looks like we got a big double bottom. Got some nice blue bars here. XBI, I think, looks better than IBB. Technology is hanging in there. Our software, we got 2 days of sold off and came right back. That looks good. My fingers got a little happy there. We got a little bit of a bounce in semiconductors today. Infrastructure, slight pullback. Airlines, got a gap up over here on Monday and slight pullback. Interesting. Industrials, got a slight pullback in industrials. Building materials had been trending, and now we got a huge gap down and sold it and went down to the low. Not sure what really happened there. Mining and metals are pulling back as we saw gold, silver, and copper pull back to its 10-day moving average. So those of you who didn't listen to me when I said take your profits in silver and buy more when it pulls back, try to stick to the rules there. And XHB and home builders with the yields coming down, I believe, look pretty good. Okay, now let's move on to see where the action today was. So we looked at GitLab. Alchemy Technology, huge move today. We had this nice tight shelf that I really like over here. This is my favorite pattern. Really would not go down after going up to the profit zone. That's a good sign. MongoDB is bouncing. Looks like it's building a shelf pattern here. Just take notice of that. Up 2.52% on pretty good volume. Blackbaud, I believe it was in the news. Breaking out here. 2 days of 3 days of increasing buying volume, highest volume since our base here. Relative strength going to new highs, 90%. The line is rising higher. We talked about this yesterday. AVAV. It's a little bit extended, I think, but I'd keep it on a watch list, see if it comes back, and look at some other people in the industry. Guidewire software. The software keeps trending. Look at this volume. Pretty good volume over here. Relative strength 95. Doesn't really show it, but it looks like we got another high on the relative strength line. This usually goes up before the stock goes up. 127% growth in revenue and profits next year, 85% the next year. We had 74 cents versus 3 cents, almost 1,000% increase. It's looking good. ESTC, which continues to lead the market. Huge gap up over here, continues higher. Smart, another software, Smart Sheet software used by some insurance agencies. Looks like they're profitable next year. Looks like we got a breakout here. 1, 2, 3, 4 days in a row of pretty good volume. Pega Systems, pretty good volume. Business process software, once again. This is where all the money seems to be moving. And CNA Insurance. Looks like they're working on breakout. Pretty good volume over here. Up, volume's up 1.29%. See if we can look at a couple of losers. Sphere Entertainment, streaming, down 15.5%. Highest volume we've seen. Doesn't look good. EVH. Down a little over 9%. Tried to fight back at the end, highest volume since the base. Interesting, 5.9, I believe was up yesterday, and people are taking big profits today. We looked at this in the news, and we looked at iPoint. Merit Medical Systems down 11.37%. Charter Communications. How can you tell if something's going to go up? People are asking me. Well, this looks like a head and shoulders top. Here's the left shoulder. Here's the right shoulder. I'm not sure if the right shoulder is supposed to be lower than the left, but does not look good. Could not move higher. Pulled back down. Could not get above its moving averages. So this kind of portends badness in the future. So that's my answer to that. Biomea Fusion, trying to break out above the 200-day. Got a slight pullback today. Doesn't look too bad considering its move over the past week. Our Venus, trying to break out. This doesn't look too bad if it can continue up, although the selling volume the last couple of days does not look good. Powell Industries working on a breakout here, down 2.86%. Highest volume since the base, so that's something to keep aware of. And we got a little trend down on the relative strength line here. I would make it prove itself. So that's all of our news for today. That's our show, Mornings with Michael, for information and educational purposes only. We're here to serve and help you move your money harder than you do. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us, and we'll see you on Wednesday. If you haven't gone out there yet to support your taco truck, go out there and support them on Taco Tuesday. Have a great day.